In today's lesson, we're going to have a look at the relative frequency. Relative frequency is the probability of an event happening based on experimental data. In questions, it's most commonly referred to as the relative frequency, however is also called the experimental probability or an estimate for the probability. To find the relative frequency of an event, you simply take the frequency of an event happening and write it over the number of trials that have been completed. The easiest way to demonstrate this is by looking at some examples. In this first example, it says a person flips a coin 20 times and records their results. It lands on heads 9 times and tails 11 times. Usually when we flip a fair coin, we'd say the probability of getting heads is a half and the probability of getting tails is also a half. That's because the events are equally likely. If, however, we're asked for the relative frequency, we have to base it on the results that are given in the question. The first part asks us what is the relative frequency of it landing on heads. From the question, I can see that it lands on heads 9 times. Therefore that's 9 out of the 20 repetitions, so that would be the relative frequency. In part B, it asks what is the relative frequency of it landing on tails. I know that it landed on tails 11 out of the 20 times, so again that would be my relative frequency. In this second example, it says that a person asks 50 random people their favourite colour. The results are shown in the table below. We need to find the experimental probability of someone choosing the colour green. Looking in our table, I can see that 6 people chose green, so this is 6 out of the 50 people that were asked in total. So this is the relative frequency or experimental probability. If in the example it didn't tell us how many random people were asked, we'd have to add up all of the frequencies in the table to find out the total number of people. Obviously our answer can be simplified, and if I divide the top and bottom by 2, I can say that the experimental probability is 3 over 25. In this final example, it says a person spins a numbered spinner 30 times. They get an odd number 18 of these times. Work out an estimate for the probability of getting an even number. We know that the result must be either odd or even, so if they got odd 18 times, I can do 30, which is the total number of spins, take away 18, which gives me 12. That's the number of times that they get an even number. This means that my estimate for the probability of getting an even number is going to be 12 out of the number of trials, which is 30. If I divide the top and bottom by 6, that gives me 2 out of 5, which is the simplified answer. What I'd like you to do is log into Dr. Frost and complete the main task called Relative/Experimental Probability, which has been assigned to you by Mr. English. For those of you wanting a bit more of a challenge, there's an additional extension task which has been set for you as well. The extension task links the idea of relative frequency with expectation and other probability skills that you've looked at over the past week. I've included a link to the video about expectation from last lesson, which you can access from the task on Show My Homework. You can use this to help you with the extension task if you're unsure. Don't forget that the email assigned to your Dr. Frost account is your school email. That's your username to get into the computer at ucc.rutland.sch.uk. If you are unsure about your password, simply leave me a comment and I'll reset it for you. If you are struggling to complete some of the work from today's lesson, then please do not hesitate to get in touch via comment on Show My Homework. I'll try to make myself as available as possible and get a reply to you as quickly as I can. If the issue requires a little bit more input from myself, I might ask to arrange a time to meet on Teams where I can give you some personalised help with that specific problem.